Hi friends, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Come Chill With Me. I am stoked. I know some people won't be, but I am stoked because I am a found footage fan. I know there's a few out there, we're a dying breed, and I got really excited when I heard about Dashcam. This is a new Blumhouse film that's about a musician that is having a lot of fun live streaming for her audience as she drives around LA. Already off to a good start because for me, a film called Dashcam could be so basic, and I feel like there's already some interesting elements at play here. But things take a turn when she goes to visit a bandmate and takes her live stream along with her. I have not watched much of the trailer, I just know that idea and then I stopped because as soon as I saw the name Dashcam and I knew it was found footage, I was down. Spree from 2020 definitely has those same kind of car found footage live stream vibes. That one was a little bit more focused on his story, and this one I feel like we're gonna go along with protagonist and you know, something creepy is gonna happen. Hopefully a lot of jump scares. I'm ready for just a fun popcorn horror that I can enjoy and get immersed in. I know found footage isn't for everyone, so let me check it out and I'll be your tester and I'll let you know whether this is just for found footage fiends or if there's something in there for everybody, and I'll do it spoiler free, letting you know whether it's worth your time. But if you're gonna watch it anyway, why not pause me when I go to watch the film and we can react together afterwards. So obviously I'm interested in this film for all of the reasons I've already listed, but also the director is Rob Savage, who did Host. I feel like Rob has really niched himself in this pandemic kind of content, which Host, if you saw Host, it's kind of like a found footage but within screen in a Zoom call, and it is during the lockdown, where this one is meant to take place during that time. And if you've seen Host, you know it is a popcorn, very immersive horror film. It's one that is just meant to be enjoyed, no deeper meaning, but it is very thrilling, and I really recommend watching it with your friends on Zoom together. I did that recently. Such a good time. Also, just to add a little bit more pressure, he has an upcoming adaptation of The Boogeyman, which is a Stephen King story. It's in pre-production right now, and I feel like just knowing how this film goes will give me a better idea of him as a rounded director, because after watching one film, you just don't know. There's so many elements at play, so there's so much writing on this for me. I guess there's nothing left for us to do but to check out the film and see whether it's worth your time. Let's go check out Dashcam. Hi friends. Honestly, I am not putting this on. I've never been so shocked during a whole film for so many reasons. Even the sadness. This film to me was more surprising, maybe because the sadness was really hyped up. Absolute I am so conflicted about this movie and we need to talk about it. I'm just gonna get the tough stuff out of the way. This film is political, which, where, when, how, why. It's very jarring for me as an Australian to see some of these views, you know? I'm not saying that we're better here or anything like that. It's just very, I don't know if it's more in my face because it's so, like, the climate over there is, like, a little bit different and the issues are different. I mean, are they? Not really. But, yeah, it's just a lot, you know? And I did not expect that at all. It doesn't say anything about it on the trailer, doesn't say anything in the blurb. I was completely caught off guard by this aspect in this film. So the movie follows Annie Hardy, and I did look this up because after I finished watching, I just had to know what the fuck was going on. And Addie Harding, that's her real name. She's an actual musician in America, and she's known as like a comedian as well. So a lot of this off the cuff kind of like rapping that she does in her car is her. The thing about this film is she is so utterly unlikable and intentionally done so. So it doesn't matter what side she falls on, she is intentionally an asshole. Like, she is insufferable. At the start of the film, you think some of the stuff she's like rapping about and talking about is kind of funny and really edgy, and you're like, oh, she's gonna be really interesting. The dialogue's gonna be interesting. After a couple of minutes, you realize that she is just the worst. She is the villain. She is the problem. And it's not even to do with her political statements. She's just an asshole to everyone. And it wasn't so much that it's involving around her political views of anything else. It's just things she wears and things she says. She doesn't go very deep into a lot of it, but a lot of it is, I hate saying this, I hate being like to tell you this, but please wait and watch the whole review before you make any snap judgments, because there is more. It's more about her being anti-mask. Again, hold your thoughts. So the film starts off with her in America and her doing her little car show where she's rapping, and she's very edgy, vulgar. She just does a lot. She's doing a lot. And the comments also, like, they come up on the screen. I paid attention to them during the whole film. They do give away some clues here and there to what's happening. But there's also slurs in them. It's just a lot. Yeah, I just was not expecting something to be about that. But it kind of, I mean, in a way, lockdown, like, I was waiting for something to maybe touch on that, but I didn't think it was going to be a horror movie by any means. So yeah, that whole thing just threw me off from the start, and I was like, am I meant to like her? Then you realize that you're not meant to like her at all. But she's just such a character. So she actually goes to the UK in the film to visit her friend, and she takes the show along with her, the live streaming, and she is just a menace to society, and not in the good way that I am. She's just causing chaos everywhere she goes, and it's just so confusing for this horror movie, because when the horror aspect kicks in, it is full force, terrifying, thrilling, disgusting, and just everything I love about found footage, to be honest. So it's really strange to have this mix, because with what happens, sure, if you read into it, it could be, you know, it could have something to do with people being infected and things like that, and, you know, like the panorama, if you get what I mean. But really, I think that these two things could have been separated. At the same time, hear me out, because Annie is such a wild card, it is just bizarre to see her be knocked down and keep going through all of the horror aspects in this film, which are so intense, and it's something's interesting about it. I read up later, because I was trying to figure out who she was and if this was like, you know, a Red Scare kind of thing. If you watched this film, yeah, I was like, am I going through this again? And I think it's strange that there's no kind of context in there. But maybe I just didn't know and other people do know. But if you didn't know, this is definitely a good warning to go in there knowing this. I think it will make the film a lot better. When the horror does kick in though, it is epic. It is so scary. If you do have a problem with shaky cams, you will not want to see this one. It is really hard to distinguish what's going on a lot of the time. But everything that's happening in the background and in the chat and just the aspects, it's a lot. Also, I do want to put like a little warning around it, other than everything we've spoken about. There is gore, but gore in not like, I mean, there is blood, there's a lot of blood, but in more of a bodily fluids kind of way. I found it utterly disgusting, made me really feel ill, because usually I think about, you know, the special effects and what it took to make those kinds of aspects, especially in kills, but in this one, bodily fluids, I just can't do them. I'm not into it. And there's a lot in this one. So yeah, this film was utterly shocking. I don't want to talk about the horror aspect and what horror aspect it was, because it's kind of like a mystery. It takes you by surprise. And although Annie is just the absolute worst, following her down this rabbit hole and at the same time not really caring what happens to her, but being intrigued by the horror that's unraveling is such a weird feeling. When I was looking up who Annie was afterwards, I read that the director said that this couldn't be more different to host, and I completely agree. It really touches on different things during this time, and yeah, the feeling is just so different. It's just so intense and strange because it's so brutal, but it's kind of meant to be funny in a weird way. I can't explain it. That was really shocking to me. From the first 20 minutes of the film, I felt like I was gonna hate it, and I was really mad about it. And I was like, why are we talking about this? This is not what a film called Dashcam, what I assumed it was gonna be about. And I don't know if it's good that they didn't put that in any of the marketing, but it's really hard not to fall deep into the horror aspects and appreciate that for what it is. It's just very strange that they felt that they needed to go so full forced with the political, you know, commentary and all of that throughout it. I get that she is a very vulgar person and that's like kind of her comedy style. And I'm not really into like the, you know, the poop jokes and the fuck your dad jokes. And she is. So there is like a difference there, but it's just how far they had to go with different aspects to paint her as a person. And it made me think throughout it, like, would it be better if this was a protagonist that was more, not neutral, but just, I mean, obviously just none of that came into it. And it was just more following her along and liking her. But there's something really strange and alluring about how different she was. I could kind of understand that perhaps this film was made to suit her, because that's what it kind of feels like. It's really leaning in to her talents as being an improv comedian. It's just done in such a weird way. I can't tell you, it's so full on. It's not like this kind of like throwaway lines. It's just full on from the start, and it was a choice, you know, there was a choice made, and I don't know why. But it makes the film kind of unforgettable in a way. And that's what made me think, wow, she is such a good actress. And then I had to look her up to figure out, wait, is she actually an actress? On top of all of that, another thing I found really surprising was the runtime. The film only goes for 1 hour and 15 minutes. But also the pacing during the film threw me, because there's so much action and really intense subject matter and interest, and the camera's just going all over the place, and it's like this mystery unraveling, and the horror is just in your face. It felt like very intrusive. And then I looked at the time and it was only halfway through, and it felt like the big finale. The film is paced in a way that it is meant to shock you. It is meant to have these twists and turns that you have no idea what's coming up next. It is like you're watching an actual live stream that doesn't have like a character arc. It's just bizarre from the start. But I do want to say, on the cinematography, I loved a lot of the, background stuff and like a lot of the horror aspects, which some of it was a little bit, fake. And they do actually say that in the chat, like a lot of the people comment on that. And it kind of reminded me of VHS in that way. This film is like The Hunt meets VHS in a very strange way. I wouldn't call it exactly that, but in a very strange way. But I think that they did really well, making it look like one take through a lot of things that they did. But my issue was it didn't make sense why they were filming a lot of it. They set it up from the start, obviously, and she is such a bizarre personality that you can kind of understand why she would keep filming through a lot of things that happen. But there's different parts that come into play that doesn't make any sense why the live stream is going on. I think that you're meant to forget that, but the fact that it's like shown within a screen where it has like the comment section and it has like a little live stream like watermark and all that, I don't know. If for me, I was like, wait, why is this still recording? Yeah, I mean, that's just like a nitpick for sure. The film has so much other things going on that you don't even know who you are, to be honest. I forgot who I was halfway through. I have to say, I was jumping around that whole time because of all of the gory stuff and the action. I was literally shocked. Like, my mouth was open the whole time watching it. So it was, I have to say, as much as I don't like the heavy-handedness that doesn't really relate to anything, I do think it's a very shocking film, but only if you're into that and only if you're up for a kind of vulgar journey, I think. If you like that kind of stuff and you like edgy humor, I don't think you should watch it if it's gonna annoy you or piss you off. But there is something special there. It's just wrapped up in this very odd character story that I just wish they didn't go so hard on. And it doesn't look good from any side to do those kinds of things, I believe. But yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. I really liked this film in a weird way, but hated so many aspects of it, or was really turned off by aspects, I would say. But it is alluring to see a very different character. I just didn't like that it was this whole thing where they make them to be a certain character just to annoy the audience, or you know what I mean, if that makes sense. And to put it so much in your face was a lot, but I guess that's like who she is in real life. She's a very in your face kind of person, so I guess that's how she would have played her. So yeah, super interesting. There's a lot to think about with this film, and I can't wait until you all watch it, and can't wait to see what everyone says. Before I watched this, I did look on IMDb and I saw it had a pretty low score, like in the 4s. And as I was watching it, I'm so curious about what's going to happen with that, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be mad about the political aspect of it, and really score it on that. And I have to say, as much as like none of that aligns with me, I really enjoyed a lot of this film. It's hard for me not to like it because the horror aspect was so spot on and I was so thrilled, but there was just so much in it that was so unnecessary. It's so strange, but it's kind of what makes it special in a weird way, that it's controversial and yeah, just not forgettable. I just keep thinking about if it was protagonist that was likable, would this film stand out as much? I don't know. But I mean, it could have just been toned down. I think if it was toned down, it wouldn't have been an issue. And I think if they just let her be herself, that would have been cool. There is a really cool credit scene as well that was pretty hypnotizing, so look out for that. Stay for the whole credit scene. I really recommend it. Yeah, I wish she was just more of herself than this caricature of, you know, something for no reason. I get that it was during the lockdown, but it doesn't mean that we have to go like so full forced on that. Like, people aren't ready for that either. Anyway, so I'm really conflicted of what to rate this one. If it wasn't for all of that crap, I would have given it like an 8. Like, I really liked all of the found footage. Like, it's everything found footage used to be. And it's really sad to see that kind of hidden throughout all of this other stuff, this messy stuff. You know what? I'm still gonna give it a 7. I have to. Like, I really enjoyed that, and maybe for me, because that stuff was more towards the start and you kind of write her off, you know, like 20 minutes in, and you're just going for the journey, and you're just kind of watching as like someone who's completely out of their minds on like a live stream. It's so interesting. And yeah, I guess I learned that I don't have to really love the protagonist to enjoy the story as long as it's like thrilling and I find it disgusting. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with it. And I feel like that's going to be a bit strange. I know a lot of people are really going to hate this film, but that's really how I feel. And I'm really interested to see how people rate this one. For originality, I'm going to give it a pretty high score because it has all of those interesting aspects. So I'm going to give it a 7 as well. And for scare, I'm also going to go with a 7 because it was absolutely thrilling, and the bodily fluids, it was just so gross and it made me feel sick. And there was things that jumped out. There was definitely a lot of jump scares, but they were totally unexpected. So I was jumping around like a jelly bean that whole time. Anyway, I am a little bit scared to put this out, but this is my true thoughts and feelings on Dashcam. I can't wait to hear what everyone else thinks. Again, if this doesn't sound like your kind of thing, I would not recommend watching it to hate watch it or anything like that. It's just not worth your time. But if you can get past that kind of stuff, and I think that that's what's good about me talking about it to you now, so you go in with the expectation that it does have a bit of fluff throughout, hopefully that will make it easier to get through now that you're aware, because it was completely shocking to me. If you've seen Dashcam, let me know below what you thought, and let me know if you haven't seen it, if you're going to see it. Probably one to watch at home, I would say. I can't imagine on a big screen with the screen moving so fast and just so many different, it was a lot. So I know a lot of people find it harder to watch those on the big screen. Maybe if you find that easier, maybe check it out. But I think rent it at home. and enjoy it if you're into some edgy stuff and can get past all of the strange agendas in it. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'll talk to you all very soon. Stay safe and stay spooky. I am still actually shocked. Okay, bye friends.